Hi everyone, I'm Gina from Gina K Designs and your host of Stamp TV, and today I get to share some exciting news with you. This Thursday, I'm headed to Phoenix, Arizona for the big Creativations show, which many of you know as the CHA. This year, I'll be in the ThermoWeb booth showcasing my brand new line with ThermoWeb. This line is packed with never-before-seen foil mates, exclusive Gina K Designs foils, a brand new line of dies, and so much more. Today, I get to show you a sneak peek of a few of these amazing products in my Stamp TV card project video. So let me show you the tools and products that I'll be using for today's project. First, I want to show you two of the brand new Gina K Designs exclusive foils. Now you guys know I love sparkle and shine, so I have two phenomenal foils that are two of the 10 foils that are coming out. This one is called Gold Sequin. Check out this sparkle. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? Gold Sequin, and this one is Silver Sequin. So these foils are going to be amazing with the different foil mates that we have coming out. And also, you'll be able to use these foils with all of your projects that you normally use foil with. These are incredible. Wait till you see them in action. Alright, so I'm just going to put this one back over here, and we're going to use this one, and then I want to show you a sneak peek of one of our new foil mates. We've got tons of foil mates coming out at the show. This is from our Birthday Essentials Foil Mates pack, and this has 6 different birthday greetings so that you can mix and match them, and you can also use one for outside of your card and then a different one for the inside of your card that has a more extensive greeting. So I can't wait until you see all of those. For today's project, I am going to use this particular one right here, the It's Your Birthday, with this fun, funky, solid cake. Then we have so many cool patterns, and this is one of my favorites. This one is from the Swirls and Flourishes collection, and I'm going to be using one of these today with this amazing gold sequin foil. Now I have taken this piece of cardstock, and what's really neat about these ThermoWeb foil mates is these are already pre-cut down to this size, which is a half a sheet of 8.5 by 11 with no borders. So you don't have to figure out how to get a full A2 size card. You just cut it in half and you have an A2 size card. Now if you want to trim it down like I like to do, because I like to use borders, here's a little bit smaller version. I cut this one down to 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. So this is the one I'm going to use in today's project. Now let me grab my laminator. I've been heating this up for a little while. This is the Royal Sovereign laminator. And this is the laminator that ThermoWeb recommends as being one that they've tried and tested with their foils and also with this technology. Now that being said, if you have something else, because I know I'm going to get this question right away, if you have a different laminator, go ahead and try it. As long as it's a hot laminator, you should have pretty good results. But the Royal Sovereign and also the Swing line are laminators that are known to work very well with the ThermoWeb Deco foil and with our foil mates. So here I have a piece of parchment paper, and ThermoWeb sells their parchment paper on sheets that are twice this big. So this is an 8.5 by 11, so it's twice as big. And what I do is I just trim the whole pack right in half, and then I have all 8.5 by 11 sheets. And then you're going to fold that in half to make a little carrier sheet for your project. Then what I'm going to do is lay my new swirl foil mate inside this piece of parchment paper, and I'm going to lay this piece of gold sequin foil on top. Now once you have that in there, then you're going to feed that into the laminator. So let me do that. And if for any reason you don't get good pressure with your laminator, the heat on this laminator, on most laminators, comes from the top. So what you can do is you can add a piece of cardstock underneath and that helps push the surface up closer to the heating element, and sometimes that will give you better results if you're struggling. Now once that comes out of the machine, then what you're going to do is peel the foil off, and you'll reveal the beautiful design underneath, all foiled with that sequin foil. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Wow. That is so pretty. Okay, and then I want to show you something fun that you can do with this part. This is what's left over right here. And you can see that. So what I've done is I've cut a piece of the Deco Foil Peel and Stick toner sheets. Now, these toner sheets come in two different styles. They come in the peel and stick, which then you can just peel the back and mount it right onto your project, or they come in just plain toner sheets where you can then pop them up with foam squares, or you can do different things with them. I happen to have the peel and stick handy, so I grabbed one sheet out and I cut it down here to a little bit smaller than what's left over on my piece of foil. So this is cut 3.5 inches by 4 3/4 inches. Now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to lay that piece of toner sheet into my little carrier sheet here, my parchment paper, and I'm going to lay this on top. And I just want to make sure that it's centered well so that the entire thing is going to foil. So I'm going to take that now, and I'm going to feed that into the laminator. And this is a way to make use of every single bit of this beautiful foil. Of course, the strips that are left over on the edge, you can use those by lining them up over other pieces of foil mates and sending them through the laminator. You can mix and match colors and create your own gradients. There's so many fun things that I'll be showing you throughout the next few months using this whole line. But this is a really fun way to make sure that you're using the entire sheet of foil. All right, so this is coming out now. And now I'm going to show you what this looks like. This is pretty amazing stuff. All right, so you peel this off, and then see how you've used every bit of that, and look what's left behind. Isn't that amazing? Those swirls all done in that sequin foil. Oh, so you have the positive, and then you have the negative. So one little piece of foil this size can make two beautiful backdrops for your card projects. So now I want to show you what's next. I'm going to grab my Big Shot, and I'm using the Big Shot in this video. You guys know that I use the Cuttlebug a lot too, and you certainly can do that. I'm using the Big Shot in this one because this is the one that they're going to have available to me out at the CHA, so I wanted to practice with it a little bit. And what I want to show you next is how to cut out these foil mates for your card projects. So if you have a Big Shot, you want to just use you want to have it all onto this side where the number 2 is showing. Here's the number 2. The Big Shot's a little bit new to me, but I really like it. Okay, and then you're going to put one plate down. You can see my plate is well loved already. And then you're going to cut this out. Now what I'm about to show you is one of the brand new dies that is coming out with this collection. This is a double-stitched oval die, and all of these ovals are sized to perfectly fit all of the foil mates' greetings. So you're going to be able to mix and match these dies, and there's a lot of different shapes. I'm just going to say that. But today we're going to use the ovals. So pretty much anything that uses an oval is going to be able to use one other style die that's out there that's coming. And I'm going to lay this on top, and then I'm going to send this through the machine. So if you have a Cuttlebug, you're going to use this just like you would use any other Gina K designs or any other thin, wafer thin style die. Okay, So this is giving you that double stitched edge. You can see how pretty that is going around the greeting. So you want to cut these out first, and then you want to foil them. I'm going to cut one more out. I'm going to cut this Happy Birthday to You one out with the same die. And you know what? Let's cut it out with another die. I'm going to show you another die. This oval die is a single-stitched oval. And some of you like the double-stitched look, some of you like the single-stitched look. But I have to show you something that I did with this collection that I think you're going to really like. I have a really hard time deciding whether I like single-stitched dies or double-stitched dies. The truth of the matter is I love them both. So I decided to do single-stitched dies and double-stitched dies. But when you nest them together, wait till you see what happens. Okay, so that is the single-stitched look. And here's the double-stitched look. Both are really fun. Let's cut this same die out again using just a plain piece of black cardstock. This is the single stitched. And I'm going to cut this out again. And this is just one of those things that I always wished that I had and I never did. And so to have a single stitched die, here's the black circle, the black oval. Now watch what happens when you mix it with the double stitched. Look at that. You get a perfect layer. So you get that tiny little rim right around the edge, and it hides the single stitched line. So then this single stitch die is going to double as not just a single stitch die, but also a layering die for the double stitch die. So that is perfect reason to be able to use both and use them both together on one project. So now you have options, lots of options, single stitched, double stitched, or blended together to create a layer. Now not only that, but there's some other really fun little dies included with each set of double stitch dies and single stitch dies, which I'm going to show you later on. I have to keep some things fun and secret and exciting, so let me move my big shot out of the way. All right, so now we're going to assemble this card. So I have a piece of jelly bean green cardstock, and I just want you to know that everything that I'm using in this line, or everything that I'm using in this card, is part of the new Foil Mates line. So that's pretty exciting. So here's a piece of Gina K Designs heavy base weight jelly bean green cardstock, and I'm going to take that Foil Mate design and I'm going to mount that onto a piece of the Gina K Designs heavy base weight black onyx cardstock. Okay. And what you might notice is, because some of these designs are very detailed, some of the foil might creep into the lines, and it's real easy to get rid of if that happens. Just grab a brush. It can be any kind of brush. Here's a makeup brush, and you can just brush that away, and that will get rid of those little excess flakes of foil in a more intricate design. It will also get rid of the excess flakes of foil in greetings as well. You just want to make sure that it's a really soft brush and not something that will scratch the surface. Okay, so now I'm going to bring the laminator into the scene again, and I am going to laminate this piece using a piece of, ready? Jelly bean green foil. So for those of you who have followed Gina K Designs for a long time, you know that we have an exclusive line of colors that has cardstock, envelopes, ink pads, ink cubes, re-inkers, and now we're going to have 8 of those colors in exclusive foil colors. All right, so I'm going to run this through my Royal Sovereign and just let that work. And in the meantime, I'm going to bring this piece back into the scene. Now, one of my favorite ribbons, and I've used it in the past, is our Gina K Designs gold lined ribbon, and that no longer became available and we were unable to carry it anymore. So when I spoke with my friends at Therm, I told them that that was one thing that I really, really wanted. So guess what we have for you now? Gina K Designs sheer satin fancy ribbon in black and gold, and there it is. There's that ribbon, you guys. I'm so excited about this, and I know I already told them at Therm that this is going to last like 10 minutes. It is amazing. So I'm going to take a piece of this ribbon and I'm going to put this across the center of my card, right about here. Oh, this ribbon. And I'm using a, this is one of the Therm tape dispensers. I love the dot style adhesive, and so this is one of the tape dispensers that also comes in our mini kits. I just love this. All right, and then this whole panel is going to go on to this panel of jelly bean green. And we'll put that together just like that. Okay. So now that this has come out of the laminator, I'm going to peel that off. And there is that beautiful jelly bean green. Look at that shine. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to mount that onto this single stitched oval. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see some of this a little bit closer. That might be a little too close. All right, there we go. And I'm going to add a little bit of tape on the back there and connect these two together. And there, look at that. Oh, I love that. Okay. I love the dot style adhesive because it's forgiving, and if it's not perfectly straight, you have just a little bit of play time. There we go. Okay. All right, so now I have this panel, and I'm going to adhere this with some foam squares. So I have these little mini squares. These are kind of fun. These give a nice loft, too. I really like them. And they stick well to your card front. I just got my nails done. Well, actually, I did them myself, and I used some gel polish, and it's a little thicker than I'm used to, so... All right, and I'm going to apply that right to the card, right about there. Okay. So now I'm going to take a little bit more of this ribbon, and I'm going to make a double looped bow, and you guys have seen me do this before, so I'm going to do this around once and around a second time, and then we're going to feed the tail all the way through my two fingers there. So the tail's going to go all the way through, like that. And now my next step is going to be to take this tail and bring it over the loop and through the loop. Over the loop and through the loop. And then I'm going to pull it toward my elbow. And that's going to make a really pretty bow when you flip your hand over. So I'm going to struggle a minute here to get that off of my fingers. There we go. There's that pretty little bow. I'm going to cut the tails. This ribbon is amazing. It's so soft and it's so movable and pliable. You're going to love it. Some ribbons are kind of stiff and it makes it hard to tie pretty bows, but this is amazing. Okay, so I have one of these zots, and I'm going to take the zot and put it on the back of this bow. And pull that off. And then I'm going to find exactly where I want to lay this bow, right about there, and put some pressure right on that zot. And that creates a pretty little bow embellishment for that card. Isn't that pretty? Look at the shine. You got the sequins in the background, and you've got the jelly bean green. And what's funny is when you pull these foils out of the package, they're not an exact match until after they cook through the laminator, and then they're just spot on beautiful. Something happens to the foils when they heat up. Okay, so we have that one. I made a couple of those, so that's so fun. Now I want to show you what I did with that negative piece. Remember this piece? Okay, so I foiled this one, and actually on my sample I used the double stitch, but I wanted to show you that you could use either die to cut these particular greetings out with. And what I did with this one is I foiled it also with the sequins, the gold sequins. You see them all in the balloons and everything. And then I used some other ribbon. Yes, we have it in white as well. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, my goodness. So I used some white ribbon and made a similar bow for that. And the colors I used for this are our heavy base weight white cardstock, which is a Gina K Designs favorite among our customers. And I used the white ribbon. I used some of our wild dandelion cardstock, and then that amazing sequin foil. So let me lay these down side by side, and those are my two sneak peek projects for my brand new Gina K Designs line with ThermoWeb. This new Gina K Designs Foil Mates line will be available in stores throughout the country around March 15th. And you can follow us all over social media by using the hashtags FoilMates, Gina K Designs, Stamp TV, ThermoWeb, and DecoFoil. Also, make sure you check out ThermoWeb's Facebook page and their Instagram for more designer projects featuring this new line. And if you're headed to the big show this week, stop by ThermoWeb's booth. They're in booth number 513 to see the entire product line. I'll be doing live demos throughout the weekend, and I'd love an opportunity to meet you in person. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and stay tuned for more video projects here on Stamp TV.